Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, and we work to bring national and global attention and resources back. You can't overstate its vital nature to the planet and the human food web. 1 in 12 people on Earth consume commodities produced in the Mississippi River Basin. And the main stem is the linchpin to that entire environmental service, that entire hydrological network. All of that production, all of that throughput, manufacturing, global commodity supply chain, transportation, all of those products, $1 trillion worth of product moves across in front of the St. Louis Arch every year. This is absolutely essential to the U.S. economic health and export capacity, and it's essential to global food security.
I'm very pleased to announce at this meeting's MRCTI the new partnership, an exciting partnership, to deliver immediate disaster assistance to any MRCTI city within 72 hours of a disaster event. That is due to a company founded in 1994 and headquartered in my home state of Springfield, Missouri. Convoy of Hope is a faith-based, nonprofit humanitarian and disaster relief organization that provides food, supplies, and humanitarian services to impoverished or otherwise needy populations throughout the world. As of 2025, the organization has distributed $3.1 billion in food, water, and supplies, and served more than 300 million people. Representing Convoy of Hope is Stacy Lamb, Vice President of Global Disaster Services. Please welcome Mr. Lamb to tell us more about this exciting new partnership with MRCTI.
Thank you, Mayor. It's an honor to be here today as we announce our important partnership between Convoy of Hope and the Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative. MRCTI, as you know, represents 107 mayors from communities all along the Mississippi River, stretching from Minnesota to Louisiana. Each of these mayors know the power and the importance of this river. Not only the economic lifeline, but as a place of culture, history, and community. But they also know the risks. Flooding, severe storms, and hurricanes, they're not abstract. They're realities that these cities face year after year. That's why this partnership matters so much. At Convoy of Hope, we believe that we move at the speed of relationship, and MRTCI creates exactly the kind of relationships that make disaster response faster, stronger, and more effective. By working together before disasters strike, we can reduce response times, position resources where they're most needed, and make sure families receive help quickly and with dignity. This partnership isn't just about responding, but it's about building resilience. It's about mayors and emergency managers, churches and nonprofits, and Convoy of Hope working side by side to prepare communities so that they're stronger and better equipped when the next crisis comes. At Convoy of Hope, we're excited to link arms with MRCTI. Together, we can ensure that people and families along the Mississippi River are not only cared for in their time of greatest need, but also supported as they recover and rebuild the future. Thank you very much. Convoy of Hope, as a disaster relief organization, we want to partner in times of disaster. So working with the cities of MRCTI ahead of time helps us be more prepared should a disaster strike in one of these cities.
And what type of disasters are you normally dealing with?
We deal with everything. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, you name it. Convoy of Hope has probably responded to it.
On the 20th anniversary year of Katrina, for cities like Gretna, Louisiana, FEMA is critical to the success of our governmental ability to basically recover from these incredible disasters that we're seeing across the country. And where we are, we're susceptible to hurricanes and tornadoes, massive flooding. So we're learning how to live with water. But sometimes the disaster overtakes our ability to be able to handle these crises. And we all know they're not going to go away. If anything, it seems like they come more often, not just in my area, but across the country. So FEMA and the success of that organization trying to reorganize, but get it to a point where it is the organization it needs to be for the American people is important, not just to me, but to MRCTI as a whole.
It seems like it's never normal. It's either we have a flood or it's a drought. And it impacts, we'd rather have maybe a little bit of a drought going on because we have a great aquifer. But at the end of the day, the floods, when it comes, it seems like it was supposed to be every 6 to 8 years, and it seems like it's every other year now. It's very impactful, but we've built levees to help protect that as well.
In 2005, the Mississippi River Corridor has sustained over $250 billion in disaster losses. This makes the Mississippi River Corridor one of the most expensive regions in the nation for disaster impacts. Mayors have known this for over 10 years, and in response, MRCTI cities have led the nation in disaster mitigation policy. However, we have fallen short in the immediate response and recovery side.
My third term, and it seems like every time we have a change of administration or whatever, we have the targets moved to what you need to do, and that grant just tried, it changes up all the times, and I'm glad to see Mr. Cooper's going to be serving on that committee to reform this. So,
as far as the FEMA Review Council, we've been meeting since May. First of all, let me assure everyone, FEMA is not going away, but it's going to be better, and that's what the intent has been. We want to make sure that it's more responsive. We want to get rid of the bureaucracy, and a lot of the discussion, and I'm sure you all have heard in the media, is trying to give more authority down to, because every disaster is local, and it certainly begins with the mayors. And as it relates to some of these block grants like public assistance, how can we get that to the mayors and to the cities much sooner than what's currently going on right now? Some interesting facts that I've learned while I've been on the council is that 76% of FEMA employees, they're actually located in Washington, D.C. at the headquarters. That means the other 24% are in the FEMA regions. And so for those of you that have dealt with your regional administrator, to me that's where the funding needs to be, and that's where the support needs to come for the locales. And the other thing too is that FEMA has tripled in size, before this current administration came in. And it's not just over the last 4 years, it's been way before that, but it's tripled in size. So again, we feel like the resources need to get down as close as it can to the local level. Now, of course, some states may not have the capability of doing that, so that's where I think the regions would come in and supporting them and taking care of that for them.
How critical is FEMA and disaster response to your community and all the cities up and down the river?
It's extremely important to work with FEMA, just because without any type of funding, we don't know what we would be doing in order to, to rebuild, to have a resilient community. So we definitely need a lot of funding in order to mitigate that.
We have seepage water. When the water comes up against the levees, the water goes up under the levees and comes in our town from up under. So we don't flood with the water coming up. Our infrastructure, our subsurface infrastructure like water lines, gas lines, streets, they can erode out and be problematic, and that's something we have to address. But I'm sure other communities face that as well.
A plastic bottle dropped in Montana can easily make its way through storm drains and tributaries to the Mississippi River and to the Gulf and to the ocean. It may not look like a plastic bottle when it gets there, but it's still there. In 2023, the U.S. produced 65 million tons of plastic. That's 130 billion pounds of plastic. About 1/3 of that is packaging. We produce more than any other country in the world. Even if our waste management systems were 99% effective, which we know they're not, that would mean 650,000 tons of plastic pollution enter our environment every year.
We're focused on plastic pollution. So the plastic waste going into the Mississippi River is significant because the Mississippi drains 40% of the continental United States. So when you're draining an area that large from inland origins, you're going to pick up a lot of land-based waste product. Most of that is plastic. And so by the time it gets to the Mississippi, and then further when it gets to the Gulf, it has churned and become this confetti that we eat, we drink, It gets into everything that we do, and it is poisoning our river, it's poisoning our manufacturing, and it's poisoning our drinking water, as well as our food that we pull out of the river. So in order to reduce that impact, we are working across our cities to not only make our waste systems less leaky, but also create recycling capacity, more plastic waste recycling capacity throughout our cities, to really create a market-based solution for giving people a financial reason to not throw it in the river, but put it into a recycling system because there's real economic opportunity there. That's more on the kinetic side that's in the States. Now, there's a larger global conversation around plastic waste going on right now, and that is the negotiation of the International Plastic Waste Treaty, which we are an observer organization to, and we are working on to make sure that what comes out of that treaty is something that actually reduces the amount of plastic that we have to worry about and deal with.
When the river gets high, the pollution tends to flow into the backwaters, and when the river drops, we see that pollution along the banks.
We should do whatever we can do to protect the river, as far as the trash, as far as dumping toxic waste and all. We need to protect our river. The river is a vital resource for us all.
Most definitely more work to clean up the river and to eliminate the pollution within the river, and to really treat it as, a resource.
We are the largest steel producing county in the world as of now, and so we're developing our river ports to bring life into our cities. Our cities sit directly on the Mississippi, and so this is just giving us an idea of what development should look like along the banks of the Mississippi.
Pollution anywhere is a terrible thing, and to see what people do, in the rivers, not realizing the impact that it has, not just on the river, but on communities, upon our health. And so we do a lot in our area through the Sierra Club and the Wetland and the Heartland Conservatory to do a lot of work to take care of our part of the river and to do cleanup along the riverbanks and just encourage people not to, pollute the river.
The first thing that we need, and we're actually working with the Corps of Engineers to dredge our Quincy Bay. At one time, Quincy Bay was about 6 feet deep and was used predominantly for recreational purposes. Now it's only 6 to 12 inches deep. So the Corps of Engineers is working with us, and we hope to get it dredged here in the next couple of years. That will give us some recreational space back on the river so that we don't have to go out in the main channel. The other thing is probably conservation and just making sure that our clean water stays clean and that our fish and wildlife have a place to live.
Honestly, sustainability. I'd like to see the water clean so that we can make sure that recreation and wildlife can sustain as we have the commerce going up and down.
Just overall care and concern for the river. It's a jewel, it's a diamond, it's our lifeline actually. And I just wish that we could raise the conscience of everybody about the importance of the Mississippi River.
We need to always protect this river. We've got to realize that this is a delicate, beautiful, amazing river. We're so blessed to share it.
We really wanted to give the mayors and the host city mayors really wanted to give the visiting mayors a taste of the upper Mississippi River, how it looks, works, and feels once you get north of St. Paul. Once you get north of that lock and dam infrastructure, this is the part of the river that is not navigable by major barges or ships because there is a big cliff in St. Paul blocking all that. That was the St. Anthony Lock and Dam structure. So from there south all the way to the Gulf, you have major shipping. But there north to Bemidji, you don't, because the Mississippi River is navigable, but not for shipping. It's navigable for recreation. We really wanted to show the mayors of the lower river and the middle river, what does that feel like? What does it look like? What is it like to have all these people's backyards back up to the Mississippi River? And really, truly, the Mississippi is a residential river from just north of St. Paul to Bemidji. How does that work? What's the zoning involved? How does it feel? The boat trip really gave our other visiting mayors that kind of sense.
We need to make sure that the river gets cleaner as we go instead of dirtier over the years. It's starting. The eagles are back in Red Wing. We have hundreds of eagles. When they roost, there's over 400 eagles roosting in Red Wing. And there's an area by us where they're called mayflies. They hatch. Now, usually it was once a year. It's a good way to find out how well the river is doing cleanliness and ecologically. We've had 4 hatches this year. The river is getting better as we go, and I just want people to make sure that they understand that you can't throw things in the river. You can't have different pollutants go in the river. So we want to keep it vibrant. We want to keep it wonderful for our shipping. It's very important for our shipping, and then our retail and our recreation. We do a lot in recreation, and it's getting better and better, but we need to make sure that we stay diligent in keeping our river clean and doing things that will enhance our river cleanliness and ecology-wise.
For me, I think that I would like to see us actually get more usage out of the river. You know, when I look at this ride that we're doing right now, this is a beautiful opportunity to just show how great our natural waters are.
We utilize the river very heavily in the summer for recreation, obviously commerce going up and down. We don't have the fortune of having a riverboat dock, so we get to see everybody go by, but the road and private boating industry keeps us quite busy. We also have a heavily engaged group looking at environmental restoration and sustainment of the river and promoting crops and other methods to keep overflow rolling into the river and keep the river clean.
Quincy is the gem city located right on the Mississippi River at the belly button of Illinois. We use the river for all kinds of things, from recreation, swimming, water skiing, boating, but most importantly we use it for fishing, for wildlife preservation and wildlife habitat, and we also use it for commerce. We have the northernmost barge dock on the Mississippi that never freezes. So we have a lot of commerce going through the river right in front of Quincy.
Just continue responsible development and working with folks up and down the Mississippi River to continue making it a better waterway for everybody's use, whether it's recreational here or shipping to the south here, you name it. We want to make the river usable for everybody, continuing the good job that we've been doing to clean the river, have the water quality continue to increase and be better so people can use it, as more recreational up and down the Mississippi.
Is no surprise to any of you that over the last few years, drought has played a major role in the entire watershed, and none of us at NOAA who were present for Mayor Constant coming to the NIDIS Executive Council 2 years ago and talking about mile marker 96.5. That was a mic drop moment for all of us who were in the room to hear the challenges that you were experiencing and that the lower basin was experiencing due to drought. And at the time, we were grabbing data from all sorts of different federal agencies. One agency had a stream flow data set that we needed. One agency had a different data set that we needed. And you had to go to 10 to 12 different websites just to find the data set that you needed. And then you needed an interpretation of what you were looking at any given time. And we needed that too, even within NOAA. Meanwhile, the backdrop of the media capturing the drought event that was emerging, and also coming and looking for timely and relevant drought information to understand and to then communicate to your communities. And so we really received a request from you all and from many partners up and down the basin and federal agencies to do better in communicating drought and low flow conditions in response and to coordinating that information delivery with one voice. And so today we have launched the Mississippi River Drought and Water Dashboard with you all. You have kicked this off, and the information that you have shared about what your communities have experienced due to drought have really been the inspiration for this dashboard even existing today. What is this dashboard? It is an interactive online platform that's going to help with decision making and also with communicating drought information and conditions and getting it into the hands of your communities in newsletters, the media who needs quick and easy, digestible information, maps that they can put into their products, social media that they can share, alerts, share information, share resources, all in one stop shop. Over the last 4 years, drought has impacted the lower Mississippi River Basin, largely due to drought events that have taken place in the upper Mississippi River Basin and the Ohio River Basin that have impacted significantly the economies within communities in the lower Mississippi River Basin. And we're seeing that happening right now before our eyes in the Ohio River Basin, where typically the Ohio River Basin contributes about 50% of the flow into the lower Mississippi River Basin. But right now, the Army Corps estimates it's at 9% of its contribution. So those are significant deficits, and we do anticipate some impacts felt this fall in the lower basin.
The other pond packs that exist in the United States have been relatively successful. One of the most successful is the one on the Great Lakes, and that's been around since 2008. It's been around a long time. It was finally ratified and signed by the president in 2009, but those conversations started in 1982 with the governors of the Great Lakes states on the U.S. side and the premiers on the Canadian side. So not only do we have this compact that's international in scope for the Great Lakes, long time to build it, a lot of gubernatorial involvement, a lot of committed engagement from the states to make that happen. We don't have that along the Mississippi River. We don't have that long history of gubernatorial lifting and coordination. But we do have the mayors, and we do have a lot of committed state legislators that do want to see that water resource protected. So we were able to announce at this meeting a significant step forward, and that is the passage of the very first water export ban along the Mississippi River. It took place in Missouri, and that was spearheaded by State Senator Jamie Berger of Missouri. He pushed that bill through, he got it passed. Now Missouri is our first state that protects water resources from being mass exported outside the Mississippi River corridor.
The way this bill came about in 2021, when I was a state representative, we were sitting in an ag policy meeting, and I asked the DNR director at that time, I said, what keeps anyone from pumping water out of Missouri to a neighboring state? And he sat there a long time, and he said, Representative, I'll have to get back with you tomorrow. He came in my office the next day, and I think he was kind of bewildered that we had no law on the books that would disallow that. So that's when we filed our first bill in 2021. You know, come to find out, when we started doing this, we come to find out that we were shipping water from Joplin, Missouri, which is in southwest Missouri, to the Native American casinos in Oklahoma. We were shipping water from Kansas City, Missouri to places in Kansas. We were shipping water from St. Joe, Missouri into Iowa. This legislation began with a very real concern raised by farmers, rural water districts, and communities across Missouri. We're seeing increased interest in moving Missouri water resources out of state, often without much oversight. Let me walk you through what the bill actually does. What does this mean for the Missourians? It means that farmers in the Boot Hill, where I'm from, one of the most productive agricultural regions in the country, can rest easier knowing that water isn't going to be drained and shipped 100 miles away. It means that rural communities can trust the water coming from their wells will still be there when they need it. It means transparency so the public knows exactly who is using Missouri water and for what purpose. It means balance. We aren't shutting the door on water use or even responsible exportation. Instead, we're saying if you want to use Missouri's water, you must do so in a way that is transparent, accountable, and sustainable. And perhaps most importantly, it means we're protecting our children and grandchildren. We're ensuring that 25 or 100 years from now, Missouri will be able to count on the rivers, lakes, and aquifers that sustain our way of life.
We talk about this, it's the sustainability of water, right? We want to make sure that we're protecting how much water we have in our river and how that water is used. It's kind of like we want to have a Mississippi River Compact just like we have the Great Lakes Compact. Protect this beautiful giant thing that we have called the Mississippi River.
We got 9 more states to go, but this is a start. This is a huge start because now we have a template. Now we have a formula. And now we have a cohort of state legislators that made it happen already in Missouri and can help the other state legislators in the other 9 states make it happen for them too. For the first time in our history, we're going to expand up the tributaries of the Mississippi River. And our executive committee of mayors has picked 1 tributary per state for all 10 states. We are going to cover a major tributary that reaches across each Mississippi River state, and we're going to stop on the other side of that state. So if you can think about the Missouri River, reaches from St. Louis all the way to Kansas City. So we would stop at Kansas City. The Minnesota River reaches all the way across Minnesota. The Wolf River reaches a good distance across Tennessee. The Red River, a good distance across Louisiana. So we're going to pick up the cities along these major tributaries, including the Ohio, where you get Paducah and Louisville and places like that. All told, we have potential to bring in 80 new cities into MRCTI with the resolution that we voted in today.
When you live in a town that is centered on a river, the issues around water, water quality, water safety, flood mitigation are all the same. And the Cedar River in particular, we've had some major challenges, 500-year flood on the Cedar River, which is a tributary of the Mississippi. No doubt the mayors along the Mississippi have faced similar challenges. So I think anytime we can come together and share best practices, it's better for all of us.
People don't always understand the impact and the importance of the Mississippi, so they don't always get involved. But I think including those tributaries helps Congress people, people at the higher levels understand that it's not just people along the Mississippi that are affected by this. The Mississippi feeds all sorts of people across 30 states, right? Economies depend on that. So bringing more people to the fold helps those folks understand that, somebody in your backyard relies on the Mississippi, and you need to assist with this because it's just that important to the local economy.
We have an economic development plan with entertainment, light manufacturing, and technology. We bring those economic engines to all the cities along the corridor of the Mississippi River. In our model, we're going to share some of the movie revenue with the municipalities. So 10% of our revenues from movies will go to the Mississippi River corridor. It will go to the cities that allows us to shoot in that product, and that way we don't have to rely on grant dollars. We can have earnings that go for 100 years per film to the city.
A training program, Sony School of Music, we're going to train young kids from the age of 4, 5 on up through teenage years prior to going into secondary education, and any aspect of music as possible, from being writers, musicians, instruments, from soup to peas, if you will.
Oh, it has a tremendous amount of potential. Obviously the entertainment industry is becoming more of a common man model, right? So everybody's looking for personalized stories, real integration with community, and tying that to actual local municipalities is critical.
We do have a top award that the association gives to, and we don't do it every year. Sometimes we don't do it every other year. We've gone up to 3 years without giving out this award. It is our highest honor. And typically, almost always, there's very few examples where we have given it out to someone who hasn't retired. Most of the time, this goes to an elected official that has left office and retired and is seeking time for themselves. But once in a while, we do come across that amazing individual that is still in office, still going strong, and just done such a tremendous lift for this corridor that we have to notice. You can't not look away. Their colors are just too bright. This award that I'm mentioning, we have a name for it. We call it the Order of St. Julian the Hospitaller. St. Julian the Hospitaller is the only saint in the world that is the patron saint of rivers. And serendipitously, MRCTI was actually founded on his feast day. I didn't even know he existed until that day had long passed. This was divine coincidence that we look back and saw that. So in 2016, Mayor Gambrell of Natchez at the time, he decided, you know what, we should name our award after him. And so I'm just going to read you what it says. MRCTI inducts John Hoffman into the Order of St. Julian the Hospitaller in recognition of his dedication, commitment, and innovative leadership in restoring the Mississippi River corridor. Mississippi River Cities and Towns Initiative, Honorable John Hoffman, Minnesota State Senator. John, could you join me, please?
I have a 5-pound weight limit on
Yeah, I was going to say, I was wondering if the doctor would let you carry this. Olivia might need to help you with it a little bit. Yeah.
Dude, thank you.
But I can't, so the executive committee has to vote on this. I don't have any control over this. And again, we don't do it every year. And the executive committee, when we were approaching this meeting, it was, it was unanimous. Absolutely. So Mayor Logan and Mayor Cook, again, did not hesitate. This was a no-brainer for us, who was going to get this year. I have to tell you that in the months leading up to that June day, our meeting was on track to be successful, to be safe. Everything was coming together because of this guy. A lot of us didn't have to do anything. Brant was celebrating with his milk and cookies, sit back saying, we're good. We've got John Hoffman working for us. Tierra and Jenny felt the same way, and so did I. We had this sense of relief because we had this tremendous champion that was going to bring it across the finish line. And then June 14th happened, and euphoria and relief turned into tragedy, fear, and depression. But that's okay. God had other plans. Amen. And we may feel bad, but he has a plan. And it didn't take long for that plan to be revealed. His wondrous child, his son, John, still had time with us. Lots and lots of time, long time to go. And we are all the better for it. So it is with marvelous honor and appreciation that not just me, John, but all of the mayors of the Mississippi River induct you into our Order of St. Julian.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm still not going to cry, Colin, so. This means the world to me. I mean, you guys, I go back to, where's Frank? Frank hanging out in Davenport, right? I mean, we were, legislators and mayors were talking about what needs to be done, and I said it then and I say it now. The mayors are the leaders when it comes to what we need to be doing for all of our wonderful water. And I'm deeply moved and honored by this. You're a good friend, a good partner. Thank you. Yeah, we're joined at the hip now on some things that a lot of people will never understand. I'm never going to let the evil of the night or a horrendous act of violence ever win, period. That cannot happen, you know? We do what we do because it's the right thing to do, right? It's not about me. It's not about you, Honorable State Rep. It's not. It's not. I love that. Isn't that cute? Honorable. Because he gets to say honorable. Now we get to. You guys call him honorable when you do that? Does his tag say that, Gary? Does it? It does. Good. But it's not about our own selfish interests, right? It's about what's the best for the people that we represent. If you look at the state of Minnesota, and I sat and laid in the bed for the first week. Actually, I don't remember the first 4 days. And then waking up and attached to stuff I didn't realize were attached to me until I saw a video of what was attached to me. And I asked the nurse about what a code blue meant, and she said, well, that's usually when somebody's on their way to see Jesus. And I went, oh. And she said, you were on your way to see him twice, and I stopped that reunion. And so that was something that she used a little brevity on that. I wasn't ready to be going there. But it's like we do what we do because it's the right thing to do. You guys do what you do because it's the right thing to do. Love the stories of what happens on the Mississippi River. Love the stories about what mayors are bringing to the table. That's the key. And more elected officials on the state level should be listening to you. That partnership is there. And I'll never forget that, the partnership that we created. And I was hoping that that would come back, and it did come back. And now you're stuck with me, if that's okay, Colin. So I am just blown away, grateful. I don't do well getting awards, but this really means a lot to me. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for letting me be here. Thank you so much for letting me still be around. And that's it. 9 bullets, the 10th one was here. The guy couldn't hit me. I'm like 50 Senator now. So 50 Cent, the musician, I'm 50 Senator. So with that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.